Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Unconventional Outdoorsman. I'll be stuck inside for a few days because they just mandated a stay-at-home thing in my county, so we'll be making plenty of videos for y'all to watch. Today, we've just got a little one going over some of the different uses of stick baits, which is basically, this is a stick bait. Anything that looks kind of like this, something that's, long, looks like a stick almost. There's many different uses for them. I'll go over a few of my favorites and the way I like to use them, but let's go to it. So a few different types you can use. You can definitely use like the normal Senko looking kind, like this is like a green pumpkin with black flake in it. Stuff like that. I'm gonna get this darn chair out of the way. One of my favorite ways to use stick baits, especially during the spawn like we're almost in right now, is a Neko hook like this. This is the size 1, or size 2 rather, I can't remember. And what I like to do is just, wacky style it, which means you just hook it right in the middle. And I prefer to do weightless wacky, but that's only one of the ways you can do. Stick baits are really good for shaky head use, which is basically a long shank hook like that with a weight at the end, a little kind of like a corkscrew looking thing. And what you do, I'll demonstrate here. Let's get one that I don't really need. And you can do this with ribbon tail worms or basically any soft plastic too that you want. But I like to do with stick baits. This is a black and blue mixed with almost like an Okeechobee craw color for this Saenko here. So what we're going to do, you take the flat end and you put in the screw, the sharp end, and you basically just screw it in. And, you should just do it like that. And these are really good for fishing bottom. It's a type of finesse fishing that I don't do too much. I'm not too experienced with it, to be honest. I have caught some fish with it though, and if you want to do it weedless, of course you just hook it on there and bring it like that so the hook doesn't protrude, but when a fish bites down, it just gets them hooked like that. So that is definitely one way you can do it. Probably my favorite way is the Neko style hook and wacky rig it. But a few different types of the stick baits let's go over. Senko is probably a big one most bass fishermen or fishermen in general have heard of. They're not just good for bass, they're good for basically any type of fish. Saltwater, freshwater, you can catch stuff on it. This is the #1 bait, I would say. When you can't catch them on anything else, try a Senko and you'll be pretty good. I mean, I've always had luck with them. Definitely something if you're going to wacky rig, a color you want to look into is like a red with maybe some blue flake inside of it. Something like this. But I've got a few different styles in here that I'll go over. White's a really good one for when the water's really stained. Bright colors, definitely stuff like that the fish can see, especially during the spawn. If you're sight fishing, definitely helps if you're, trying to just sight fish, like I said. When I wacky rig like this, I prefer to use a smaller rod. Right here, I've got a 6.6 medium light with 8-pound test. I like to be able to have a lot of sensitivity, especially when you're using a weightless rig like that. For example, one of my favorite is this Guggen Bait Slim Shake. This is an Okeechobee craw color, and if you wacky rig that and put it on there, you definitely want the good sensitivity. That way you know when the fish is trying to hit, and that way you can wiggle it just enough that the fish can, come down, and you let it sink. They come down and grab it, and it's a really fun way to fish. I think I made a video last spring of me catching a bunch of fish like that. So it's a really good technique to fish with. Also, you can, if you're fishing maybe smaller water, you can get maybe a shorter shank hook, or use a smaller Neko rig hook and use something like a drag and drop. This is like a, kind of like almost like a midnight mist color. My dog's at my feet, sorry. And you just, do that. There's plenty of different uses for stick baits. Another one that I haven't gone over yet is a Texas rig. Now, the way I like to do it is take a normal O'Shaughnessy hook like this, or worm hook is a known T-rig hook, and I like to use either an 1/8 ounce weight, 3/16 ounce, or a 1/4 ounce. This is a 1/4 ounce rather. This is a 1/4 ounce right here. And basically the way you fish one of these, you put the line through that, and then you tie on the hook, put on your bait, and I prefer to, if it's during the the spring, it's middle of the afternoon, I'm just trying to get bites, trying to get anything I can. I'll just fish it very slow, jerk it every now and again, something like that. Let me get out a reel to demonstrate. Look out, Bubba. So just like reeling kind of slow and jerk it every once in a while like that. That's what seems effective to me. Another way too is, you cast it in there along the bottom and you just bring it up, then you reel on the way down. Bring it up and reel it on the way down. But there's plenty of uses for stick baits. I mean, I've got over like a dozen different types here. Let me just pull them all out. I've got purple, white, blue, green. I've got more like a watermelon color here with gold fleck. This one's actually pretty good for especially late afternoon when it's a little bit overcast, maybe just a little bit of sun peeking through because it reflects off that gold flake, and you can just toss it in a brush pile, under on a bank or something. I caught a bunch of fish last year on it. I've only got 3 of them left, but something like that will do you good. Basically, every single fishing company, whether it be Berkeley, Zoom, Gary Yamamoto, even Guggen Baits has their own style, the Lunker Log. Any single soft plastic company, if they're smart, is going to have a Senko style bait. So it's definitely a bait that you might want to buy to put in your tackle box. I have at least 50 different stick baits, Senko, stuff like that are very useful. And it doesn't have to be a Senko either. It can be something more like a Wacky style worm. Even like this little thing here. This is more of like a drop shot type kind of thing, but you could put a nice little jig head or even a shaky head but definitely something like this. There's tons of different colors you can get. I think there's every single color under the rainbow you can get. But that should be all for today. I'm going to try to film some more videos. If you guys have any ideas for content, because I'm going to be inside for like the next week, and maybe do a couple different air gun reviews. I've got some woods in my backyard. We could do some, penetration tests with some of those air guns. I know I saw some comments for that. But other than that, that should be all for today, guys and gals. Please subscribe if you haven't. Hit the notification bell to all notifications. That way you will be notified every time we make a new video. And besides that, have a great Tuesday.